He's trying to hurt people. I vouch for you. You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell. Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming for everything. You threatening me?
Something is going on with you.
Damien was like family. Now we past talking.
Then maybe you just have to find him.
Do what I gotta do. Some of my methods you might disagree with me. These are family ties. I recognize mine. I know that they needed me.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Mar Sharp, Short Man Filmworks in the building. And we have another episode of the Everyday Man's Film Reviews for you guys today. All right. We are here, y'all. So we're going to talk about the directorial debut of Michael B. Jordan's Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson, and it's a couple other notable faces inside of this film. And yeah, we're gonna move on from there. You know what I mean? So if you haven't seen this movie, I advise y'all go out here, go check out this movie. I'm gonna try to keep this spoiler as not spoiler, but I'm gonna try to keep this review as spoiler free as I can. But you know, when you reviewing the movie, you know, you try to keep things from slipping out of your mouth. But I'm gonna try to keep it as on the surface as I can. You know what I mean? For those who haven't seen this movie, please go out here, check out the movie. Stay here and check out the review as well. For those of y'all who have seen the movie, then a lot of the points that I'm going to talk about and a lot of things that I want to discuss about this film, y'all going to know what I'm talking about. So stick around for a little bit. You know, it's probably not going to be one of my long ones, but I don't know. Once I start talking, my mouth just keeps on going and I can't stop bumping these gums when it comes down to movies, all right? So, let's get on down to it, you know what I mean? So, Creed 3 starts off with the characters of Adonis Creed and Damian Anderson is Jonathan Majors' character's name here. And we see the beginnings of their relationship. And you can see they have like this brother-type bond. And Damian is on his way to becoming... not becoming, but he's got a trajectory of becoming champion. He starts off in the Golden Gloves, you know, and we get a picture of what's going on with these two as we go along in the beginnings of the film, and then we start learning more about Adonis's past as the movie starts to progress. But we see that Damian, he's a promising young man when it comes down to the Golden Gloves, and he's got this trajectory of becoming champion and living the life of being, you know, just extraordinary boxer, with Adonis kind of as the, I don't want to say the sidekick, but almost like the sidekick. He's kind of like the I don't want to say the middleman, but he's more, yeah, I guess I can say that. He's more of like being the sidekick toward Damian. But you can see that they have a tight-knit relationship, you know. So in seeing that relationship, you see how brotherly they are to each other, you know, and certain situations go on and certain situations happen where, you know, it leads their life into leads their life to two different paths. And like I said, I don't want to give up a lot because I want y'all to see this movie if you haven't seen the movie. But their lives go on two different paths, you know. Fast forward 15 years later, and we see what's going on with Adonis. You know, he's on his last fight. You know, this is like his retirement fight. He's on his last fight. He's going to go out with a bang. And I think he's fighting the guy from the first movie that he fought. I believe he's fighting the first guy from the movie. And this, you know, their second bout inside of the film. And we see, you know, he has the fight, he goes out on top, and then we see him living the retired lifestyle, you know, and it's built up, you know, it's built up, you know, he's got the house, he's got all the little trinkets, the cars and things like that, you know, and we see his relationship with his daughter. And if y'all remember from the second movie, his daughter ended up being deaf, like the mama, which was basically inherited from Tessa Thompson's character of Bianca. And we see that, you know, we see how Michael B. Jordan's character is, well, not to say Michael B. Jordan's character, but we see how Adonis is, I don't want to say coping, because it's kind of seemed like he's just dealing with it, but we see how he's adjusted to his daughter being deaf. You know, he signs with her, and you see that father-daughter relationship in the film. And I think it's one of the cutest things you can ever see. You know what I mean? Cute little girl who they had play the part of excuse me, play the part of Adonis's daughter. You know what I mean? She's very cute little child actress. You know, but we see his lifestyle as being a retired boxer. You know, he's a promoter now, so while he's promoting and doing what he's doing, I don't lost my thought. I don't lost my thought. But anyway, he's a promoter now and being retired. He's working at the old gym with Wood Harris's character, which I didn't know. I think I didn't know until I seen this film that his name is Duke. And it reminds me of the Duke that was in Rocky. So it's making me think, okay, is that Duke's son in this movie? I got to go back to the other ones and watch those because I really think that was a reference to, I think he's actually Duke's son from the first movie. So I got to go back and I got to watch the first two again. But Will Harris's character, he's training in the gym and they training a fighter by the name of Felix. You know, I really can't remember his last name and I should have looked up his last name before I did this. But they training a fighter by the name of Felix and he's basically the world champion. He's the world champion and like I said, we get a gist of what's going on with Adonis Creed's life. You know, 15 years later, Damien comes back. And we see Damien come back into, Adonis's life. And you see I don't want to say the friction, but you can see the awkwardness in their relationship. You know, when Damien comes back, he comes back. I don't want to give it up. But I'm gonna have to give y'all a little bit. So he comes back out of prison after about 18 years in prison. He comes back and he's on a mission to become world champion and pick up where he left off, where he was sent to prison. Now, I'm not gonna give it up to where the reason why he was sent to prison. So y'all just go out and go check out the movie. But he comes back into Adonis's life, and when he comes back into Adonis's life, you see that Adonis has, I don't want to say he has issues, but he has a sense of loyalty to Damien. You know, knowing what happened in the past, he has a sense of loyalty to him. So he takes upon himself to say, hey, look, I'm going to help this guy. He wants to become world champion again. He's back home. He wants to become champion. So I'm going to do everything I can to help him to become a champion again. You know, and it just so happens those situations go down, a little couple situations go down in the story where, you know, Damien is dropped into the slaughter of having a fight with Felix. You know what I mean? And then, you know, it pretty much, it goes from there. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I don't want to give up so much of the story because I want y'all to see the movie. But it's been a couple of weeks since it's been out. So, I don't know. I'm going to drop a couple of gems, man. Because I feel like those who have really wanted to go see the movie would have seen it already. If you haven't seen it, you're going to go see it like me. You know, I waited 2-3 weeks to go see the movie. But anyway, so Damien ends up becoming champion. As he becomes champion, you see that now more of his desires of being this champion is starting to come out, and he kind of feels like Adonis is living the lifestyle that he should have had. You know what I mean? And in the midst of him coming back for that, you know, you see that, you know, he has a lot of things and a lot of issues going on, a lot of personal problems that's going on inside of him. You know what I mean? So dealing with all the things that he has going on, I feel like, I don't even want to say should I say I feel like, but I don't know, when you see what these two are dealing with, because in a way I look at it like it's a friendship story, kind of like all what the Rocky stories are. I think the Rocky stories, even with Rocky and Apollo Creed, is still a story about friendship as well. And this kind of takes on that same aspect of what was going on in the other films between Rocky and Apollo. You know, they have that friendship, but they developed that friendship through fighting. You know, in this one, these two developed a friendship by, you know, in a lot of ways growing up together. You know, so anyway, I feel like I want to give up more, but I don't want to give it up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just jump into my scale because I'm giving y'all a little gist of what the movie is about, and I really want y'all to go check out this movie. So like I said, I don't want to give it up, but I'm going to jump into the aspects that I liked about this movie, because I really didn't find anything that I didn't like about the movie. I really can't say there was something I liked about the movie. I walked out the movie theater and I was satisfied with the story. And like y'all know me, I'm a sucker for a story. So I was satisfied with the story and the direction that they took it in. You know, I got a little bit more info about Adonis Creed's life in his younger years, which now that I think about, I kind of feel like maybe. And it's only a 2-hour movie, so there's only so much you can dig with a certain story, because then after a while it starts to get too long, and your audience starts to lose grip of what's going on with the story. Because if it's too long and it's boring, you don't want to sit through a 2.5 long hour movie if it just starts getting boring, you know. So in chopping it down the way they chopped it down, you know, I think for me, I would have loved to have more of Adonis's past, you know, but that's kind of more like a TV series thing, you know. So for what they did with it, they gave me enough to not keep me engaged. They gave me enough to say, okay, these are the pieces of why we get led to what we get led to right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was good writing to me. I feel like that was good writing of just giving me enough to know, okay, this is what happened in the past. And now we're going to bring you up to speed to what's going on now and why these characters are motivated to do what they're doing. You know, so that would be the only thing that I had an issue with, that I wanted to see more of Adonis's past, you know. But it's fine. It gave me what I needed. And I love the fact that, you know, like I said, they kept it nice, tight. They kept it nice and tight, kept it condensed, kept me engaged the whole time when I was in the film, you know. So jumping to my scale, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the scale. Getting to the scale, I give Creed 3 thumbs up. I give Creed 3 thumbs up. Great direction by Michael B. Jordan. I think Michael B. Jordan did his thing on this film. For this to be his first film, you know, I feel like he did a good job. I think he did a good job, and I think he did a good job because he had a good story. A storyline to follow. You know, the story was written by Ryan Coogler, Keaton Coogler, and it's another individual. I believe Zach Balin. I believe that was his name. If I remember looking at it correctly. You know, good story that was written. And you know, when you got a good story, you know, I'm pretty sure a good story leads to great direction. You know, the acting was phenomenal, man. I liked Michael B. Jordan in playing Adonis Creed, and Michael B. Jordan is starting to become one of my favorite actors. As I see him in more things, he's starting to become one of my favorite actors. I see from what he used to do in The Wire, you know, because he was young in The Wire, and seeing the movies that he's been in over time, I see that his range and his skills are developing. You know, he was in the Creed movies, and him developing in that. He was in the Amazon Prime movie Without Remorse, I believe that was the name of the movie. He was in that. Another movie I liked him in was he had a movie with Zac Efron and another dude. It was a comedy, and I believe he played a nurse or a doctor in that film. You know what I mean? And I think that was I want to say that was like maybe 2011 or 2012. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I remember he was in that. So I like to see actors progress. They're in projects, and I like to see them progress, to see where they used to be, to see how far they come, where they used to be and where they are now. I love to see the progression. I love to see how good they're becoming, you know, and just see the transition of them starting out to becoming who they are now, you know. So kudos to Michael B. Jordan. You know, he's done a great job. Jonathan Majors, awesome, man. He's another one that I haven't seen him in a lot. I seen him in this, and I seen him in The Holiday Fall. And I know he was in a couple of other things I didn't know, but I'm going to start digging and see what he's been in, because he's been getting a lot of burn within the last couple months. He's in this. He's in Ant-Man. He was in Holiday Fall. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was in Lovecraft Country, but I didn't see that. It was on HBO. I didn't see that. But I think he was in that, if I'm not mistaken. But he did a great job as Damian Anderson, you know, and I like what he did with his face. Jonathan Majors did a lot of things with his face as this character. You can see a lot of the pain. a lot of the hurt of what was going on in his facial expressions. You know, he was fresh out of prison, and he's talking to Adonis, and while he's talking to Adonis, even when he wasn't talking to Adonis, even afterward, a lot of the pain and a lot of the things that was going on with him, Jonathan Majors did a lot with his face, you know, and I feel like that was a good representation, because I feel like as men, a lot of times we don't know how to express what's going on with us, and I think that was what was going on with Damien. Damien had a lot of pent up anger, a lot of aggression, a lot of things that you know that he was dealing with in those 15 to 8. I think he said he was in jail for 18 years. He had a lot of things that he was dealing with in regards to him feeling like Adonis abandoned him, and him being in prison, and him going through what he went through. He had a lot going on, and as I said, as men, sometimes we don't know how to express what's going on with us. Well, let me not say we don't know how to express what's going on with us. It's more of sometimes we don't know who to express it to. We don't know who to talk to. So a lot of times we walk around with a lot of issues and a lot of things that we want to talk about. We walk around with a lot of it pent up on the inside because we just don't know who to talk to or who to express it to. And I feel like with Jonathan Majors, him, just with his face alone, I was more captivated. I was captivated by his acting and the physical prowess of him, but I was more into what he was doing with his face. You know, because I've had moments like that where I don't know how to express what's going on with me, and I walk around and sometimes, you know, I catch myself sometimes like I'm walking around with a frown, and I feel like I'm upset and I'm angry and I want to talk and I can feel my face tight, you know, and I'm like, you know, sometimes you wear those emotions in your face, you know, you wear them in your face, and you know, it might come, it comes out aggressively, and sometimes just because you just don't know who to talk to. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know who to express it to. So kudos to Jonathan Majors for expressing that with his character. You know, I felt what he was going through, like a lot of what he was dealing with, you know what I mean? Not in the aspect of being in jail, but just dealing with a lot of raw emotions and not knowing how to channel that energy, you know what I mean? So he channeled that energy into fighting, you know, and he was a dirty ass fighter in this film. He was a dirty fucking fighter in this film. And you know, I feel like they did it for the movie, but I know a lot of stuff that he was doing in these fights wouldn't have been allowed in a real boxing ring. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a lot of dirty shit, you know what I mean? But I think that came across a part of the story to say that, yo, this is who this guy is, this is who he is, and this is what he's like, you know what I mean? So, like I said, kudos to Jonathan Majors. Tessa Thompson character, Bianca, Adonis's wife. I look at her like she was more of Adonis's rock. You know, when he was going through what he was going through and dealing with how he felt with Damien and the guilt and feeling like he owed Damien something, she was more like his rock. And she reminded me of Adrian in the Rocky movies. She reminded me of Adrian because Adrian was Rocky's foundation. She was his anchor. You know, when Rocky couldn't get it together, when Rocky was having a whole lot of issues, and you know, those y'all, I can't imagine anybody who hasn't seen a Rocky movie, especially a dude. Can't imagine a dude who hasn't seen a Rocky movie, but when you see Rocky going through what he's going through, he always leaned on Adrian. He always leaned on her from Rocky 1 all the way to Rocky 5. You know, he leaned on her, and she was more like his center. You know, when he couldn't get it together, he would go to Adrian, and she would get him on track, get him back online. And to me, that's why I love Rocky Balboa. I love Rocky Balboa because in Rocky Balboa, she wasn't there. So Rocky was finding it hard. He was finding it hard to deal with what was going on because he didn't have his anchor. You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, I feel like that goes back and that pays homage to the Rocky films, that she's like a modern day Adrian. Adonis couldn't get it together, and when he was having issues and he was having problems, she pretty much told him, "Hey, listen, you know, you got to go do what you got to do." And he's like, "Yo, I'm afraid of losing everything. You know, I feel like I can't defeat this guy." She's like, "Well, you know, you just gonna have to do what you have to do." You know what I mean? So she kind of sets him She sets him on that path, even when throughout the film he really doesn't know how to express himself. Like I said, a lot of dudes sometimes don't know how to express themselves or don't know who to talk to about what's going on with them. And then when he finally breaks it down and finally talks to her, she's like, okay, look, you got to do what you got to do. So I like the fact that they took that aspect of the original Rocky movies and put that into this one, you know what I mean? And it still goes back to paying homage to films. I like to see movies that's like that. Like the Creed movies, to me, pay homage to the Rocky movies without repeating them, but making them different and creating its own lane. You know what I mean? I feel like that with Jonathan Majors. I feel like Jonathan Majors was more of a humanized version of Clubber Lang, because I really thought the character of Damien was going to be more like a Clubber Lang character. When I was watching the trailers, I was like, oh, this is going to be the shit. This dude is going to be off the chain. And I thought Jonathan Majors was going to be more like a bullying character, but he wasn't. And he wasn't that bully that I thought he was going to be, which is not a disappointment at all. It's not a disappointment at all because they humanized him. Whereas I feel like with Clubber Lang was like a fucking machine. Clubber Lang was just like, look, I'm coming for your head, and ain't nothing you can do that's gonna stop me. I'm coming. Which made it great. It made Mr. T did a great job because it made Clubber Lang a memorable character. You know what I mean? But I feel like they took elements of Clubber Lang and put that in Damien, but made him more humanized because of what he was dealing with and what he had going on in his head. We didn't know what was going on with Clubber Lang. We just saw kind of like this straight character. He was like a freight train. He's like, yo, I'm on these tracks, I'm going forward, and that's the only thing I'm doing, and I'm running through anything that's getting in my way. Whereas with Damien, he was the same, but he was still different because he still had some humanity in him. And a lot of those humanity moments come out in the film, and I feel like I said, kudos to Jonathan Majors. Great job as the actor of conveying that and bringing that forward. So good job to him. So yeah, man. So yeah, great job to Tessa Thompson for being Bianca. Felicia Rashad, she's in the film and she plays Adonis's mother, and she has a couple of things going on with her, and she has this backdrop in the story with her. And like I said, Wood Harris is in the movie as well. And I think we got a couple. I think there's a couple of real fighters in this film as well. I think there's a couple of real fighters in this film. But great movie, man. Great movie, man. I think this is on the verge of becoming one of my favorite boxing movies. I love the first two Creed movies, and I'm gonna go back and watch this one because I know there's things inside of this film that I missed. That I can look at and really take in and study the way I want to look at it and the way I want to study it. So I'm definitely gonna go back and watch it when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, y'all check out Creed 3, man. Great movie, man. Support my man Michael B. Jordan on his directorial debut. Go get those tickets. Go out there, go check out the movie, man. It was a great movie. How do you feel about Creed 3? Did you like it? If you saw it, did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Drop some comments below and let me know how you feel about it. So like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm your boy, Mr. Mar Sharp. This is Short Man Filmworks, and these are the Everyday Man's film reviews. Thank y'all for coming through. Thank y'all for watching the review, and I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care.